Exclusive, shocking new details in the case of a Doomsday Cult mom whose children, Tylee and JJ, haven't been seen since September. After fleeing Idaho, Lori and her new husband, Chad Daybell, were found 3,000 miles away at a Hawaiian resort. But incredibly, still won't reveal where Tylee and JJ are. Today, we're taking you inside the storage unit Lori abandoned back in Idaho. Will what authorities discovered there finally crack the case? And does the man seen on this surveillance video hold the answer to what happened to Tylee and JJ? 2 days before Thanksgiving, authorities in Rexburg, Idaho, executed a welfare check after family members reported 17-year-old Tylee Ryan and her 7-year-old special needs brother, Joshua J.J. Vallow, hadn't been heard from in 2 months. Their mother, Lori Vallow, and her new husband, Chad Daybell, the Doomsday author, reportedly excommunicated from the Mormon Church, claimed that JJ was visiting a friend in Arizona. Authorities determined this to be false and returned to the Daybell home, only to discover the couple had fled. Some members of Lori's family have said they fear she's part of a cult focused on preparing for the end of time. Shockingly, Lori married fifth husband Chad just weeks after his wife Tammy died, reportedly of natural causes. But now Chad is a person of interest in her death. Tammy's body was exhumed in December, and autopsy results are still pending. The couple has been associated with at least 2 other mysterious deaths, including Lori's estranged fourth husband and her brother. But more pressingly, Tylee and JJ's family is desperately focused on finding them alive, especially JJ's grandparents.
JJ, please call Papa. You know how to do it. I'm waiting for you. Please, little man, call me.
Meanwhile, authorities tracked down Lori and Chad in Hawaii, but still, there's no sign of the children. After Lori ignored a court order to present Tylee and JJ to authorities in Rexburg, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare was ordered to conduct formal investigations into the safety of these kids. Now, that report was due to a judge yesterday, but as of this taping, their findings have not yet been made public. I'm joined now by EastIdahoNews.com news director Nate Eaton, who tracked down Lori and Chad in Hawaii. So, Nate, where are they now?
Well, last report, they are still in Hawaii. In fact, several members of the local church there say that they came to church on Sunday. They went to meet with the local leaders there, and they said, we don't want to cause any disturbances. What you have heard on television is lies. It's one-sided, and they seem to just be living their lives as if nothing is going on, as if everything's normal.
Well, Nate was in Hawaii investigating this case when authorities seized Lori and Chad Daybell's rental car. And after that, he attempted to interview them.
Where are your kids? No comment. No comment? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say? Listen, just tell people what's happening. There's people around the country praying for your children, praying for you guys. Why don't you give us answers?
That's great.
That's great. That's great that they're praying for you, praying for your kids. What? You have nothing to say?
You have nothing to say. I mean, how surprised were you by Lori and Chad Daybell's demeanor?
You know, they were pretty cold. I spoke to them for 3 minutes. I asked them 29 times, 20 questions, 29 questions. Where are your kids? It's an easy question, Dr. Oz. You know, I could ask you, where are your kids right now? I can tell you where my kids are. It's not a hard-hitting question. They ignored question after question after question. They did not want to answer anything.
Can I go to this storage unit issue a little bit? Because
Yeah.
there might be some clues in there. You actually were just inside the storage unit. You brought some footage back to us. What did you discover in that storage unit in Idaho?
So 2 days ago, we got into the storage unit that Lori Daybell went and rented on October 1st. You can see here some of the items, mainly children's items. There's a jersey with the last name of Colby, Lori's oldest son. There's ice skates. And then shocking, these blankets that have photos of JJ and photos of Tylee just folded up, stuffed in a tote, and left in this cold storage bin, along with bikes and scooters and photo albums, baby books. I mean, there were pictures of photos of these kids when they were just children, just tiny little babies.
Yeah, who puts all their kids' paraphernalia in a storage unit? So the kids were last seen in September when they were pulled out of school.
That's right.
You know when Lori started renting the storage unit?
She went to the storage facility, according to surveillance images, on October the 1st. And then she and a man, or sometimes two men, visited the facility 10 times between October 1st and November 24th.
So the surveillance footage Nate is referring to uncovered that Lori and a man who appears to be her brother, Alex Cox, visiting the unit together and then removing some heavy stuff, a tote with something hanging over the end. You'll see it there. And then there's also, it looks like there's a tire or something. Alex's truck was with him, or if it was really in fact him, and they were spotted several times at the unit in October. So when was Lori last seen at the unit?
Well, they went 9 times in October and then nothing until November 24th. Lori and a man went back to the storage unit. 2 days later, police went to her home to do a welfare check on JJ after his grandparents became concerned. JJ was not there. The next day, they went back with a search warrant. They searched the house, and then they went back to that storage unit, and that's when they searched this unit and they took photos and documented it all.
Just to get you all on the same page here, a surprising number of people connected to Lori and Chad Daybell have passed away. Back in July, Lori's 4th husband, Charles, was killed by Lori's brother, Alex, who I just told you was the person who might have been in that storage unit suspiciously bringing things out. Certainly his truck was in the storage unit area. Then Chad's wife, Tylee Daybell, died suddenly in October. She was only 49 years of age, so it's a little bit strange. And then most recently, Lori's brother, Alex, the one who shot her 4th husband and killed him, the one who was potentially at the storage unit, mysteriously died in December. Do authorities think that Alex might have known where the kids are? Do they think that was him carrying that tote with something hanging out of it outside of the storage unit?
Well, it definitely was his truck, and then he mysteriously died a few months later after this, so one would assume that he might know something. The authorities are being very tight-lipped about what he may or may not have known.
There's a part of the story that starts to make me very concerned. After Lori's husband died, Charles, there was a service dog that JJ had.
Yeah.
And apparently that dog was initially offered to be sold, and then subsequently, because you can't sell service dogs, was given back to the group that could recommandeer him.
Yeah, the dog's name's Bailey, a Labradoodle, and JJ has autism, so it was his best friend. Bailey and JJ were together all the time. Charles dies, and within 2 or 3 weeks, we're told that she tried to sell this dog for a couple $1,000s online. That makes you wonder, why was she trying to sell her son's best friend?
Yeah.
And luckily, the organization that trained this dog found out about this and said, listen, you can't sell this animal, we need it back. And fortunately, the dog's been placed with another child, we're told, who has special needs. But why would she try to sell her son's service dog?
Nate, help me understand what's happening in Lori's mind, because this story is not coming together. Why was she doing this? What does she think is happening?
Well, her husband, who was shot and killed, was so concerned about a year ago that he went to a court and asked for custody of the children because she was saying that the second coming of Jesus Christ would be coming in July 2020. The world would end. And that she had been reincarnated several times. And she had actually said, if you get in my way, you may die. And Charles told friends, told family members, if anything happens to me, look to Lori. So there were concerns a year or more ago that she was becoming involved in, religious delusions and things like that, and enough that her ex-husband raised these concerns.
What do the folks in Idaho think? I mean, this is a state that people often know each other pretty well. What do they think is going on with any of these weird things, Tylee and JJ's disappearance? Are they putting the pieces together?
There are so many questions. This is probably the most bizarre case Eastern Idaho has seen. I don't know if you could say ever. I mean, there's so many complicated pieces. The big question that everybody has and could be answered, where are the children? You answer that question, and this big chunk is solved. Whether they're still here, and heaven forbid they're not here, just answer that question, and the parents could do that.
They could do it easily, but they ignored your questions 29 times.
Yeah.
They'll be asked quite a bit more, I'm sure. You can follow all of Nate's wonderful reporting on this disturbing case at eastidahonews.com. Congratulations, and keep pursuing them.
Thank you, Dr. Oz.
Shed light. Coming up, missing 7-year-old JJ's grandparents are here with shocking new details on the search for JJ and his big sister Tylee, why they say this previously loving mom has turned into a monster.
Listen, just tell people what's happening. There's people around the country praying for your children, praying for you guys. Why don't you give us answers?
That's great.
That's great. That's great that they're praying for you, praying for your kids. What? You have nothing to say?
That's footage of one of the only times Lori Vallow and her new husband, Chad Daybell, have been spotted publicly since news broke that Lori's daughter, Tylee, and son, JJ, are missing. JJ's grandparents, Kay and Larry, are back with us today. How shocked were you both to learn that Lori was in a resort, a very expensive multi-million-dollar gated community in Hawaii, while the rest of the world was looking for her children?
You know, it's one thing to rub it in the public space and to rub it in law enforcement space, but to rub it in to the extent she has, as you say, the $1 million community laying on the beach, that's the mind of a very sick person. And I want to feel sorry for her because we knew the other side of Lori.
So, Kay, you've gone from believing Lori was a loving mom to thinking she's a monster that ought to be in jail. What happened to her?
It's like, I don't know exactly when she and Chad met, but they're leading a path of destruction everywhere around them that they've been, all the way from Arizona to Idaho to Hawaii. I mean, and all of us back in Louisiana. I mean, there's a lot of people that have been hurt by this, and we had spoken to a couple of people a couple, and the husband had been involved in that for a little while, and it
I've been involved in the cult?
Yes, and this is probably 50 families that have been affected by this in a very bad way.
In a very small town.
Right.
There's one person that I wish I could stand here and talk to, and he would look me in the eyes. Chad, let's you and I sit down. Let's get a cup of coffee.
Chad
Daybell,
Daybell, the Doomsday author.
Absolutely.
And Lori's husband.
And Lori's husband. And Chad, let's sit down. You got to explain to me how this happened.
So Kay and Larry haven't been able to speak to JJ since August. He and Tylee haven't been seen by anyone since September. And we now know that Lori put their belongings into a storage unit in October. So Larry, how hard is it to see JJ's loved items in storage? That's a scooter, which I understand he adored.
Yes.
It hurts. That scooter right there, the first thing he does in the morning, he goes and he gets his scooter and he runs up and down. We're fortunate we live on a dead-end road, and he's got a lot of road to ride on. We were buying him new tennis shoes about every 7 days.
From riding that scooter.
He wears out the left foot pushing and dragging.
So when that scooter's in storage and his dog, his service dog, is given back to the organization after she tried to sell it, I mean, what does that mean to you? What does that signify to you?
It means what I don't want to hear. To me, we don't use the D word. We can't. But it means to me is that somebody, his mom, his uncle, were cruel enough to either put him someplace or something else and not take really the 2 or 3 things that he loves the most. I see that scooter, and that's what it makes me feel like. I am so friggin' angry. I want to get in a room with him and I want to hurt him. I know better. I'm not going to do it. The good Lord's going to take care of that for me. I'm not. I'm not going to depend on anybody else. I'm going to turn it all over to the Lord, because we can't. I can't take justice out on myself, even as bad as I want to. I can't serve that justice that way.
So let me shift gears to this. So Chad Daybell, Lori's newest husband,
Yes.
fifth husband, allegedly said his wife Tammy's spirit helped him connect with Lori.
Yeah,
That's why they were able to get married so soon after her untimely death.
right. She is an innocent victim, just like Charles is an innocent victim, just like JJ, just like Tylee, just like us, just everybody in their world. Lori has just exploded it, and for her own selfish needs or desires.
If I understand correctly, you think there are people in Rexburg, Idaho, who have more information, but they're afraid to talk about it, afraid to speak
absolutely.
up. What's your message for them?
Please, please, please. This is easy. This is about two children. It's that simple. This is about two children, two beautiful children. And all we want to do is somebody in Rexburg, somebody around that community, somebody around that part of the state. They have to have seen something.
So if you know anything about the disappearance of J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan, please go to findjjandtylee.com. There's a $20,000 reward for information directly leading to their recovery. This family has lived in states all over the country, so we really need to spread the word and find J.J. and Tylee. We're going to have all the contact information you need at droz.com/crimehunters. Godspeed. We're all praying for you. Keep pushing.
Thanks,
You are
Dr.
hard.
Oz.
Thank you.
Coming up, if Lori and Chad Daybell had been lying to authorities, why haven't they yet been arrested? We're back with the latest on the search for brother and sister JJ and Tylee, who were last seen in Idaho in September. Their mom, Lori, and new stepfather, Chad Daybell, have now been discovered 3,000 miles away in Hawaii, but continue to refuse to cooperate with authorities. Joining us now to try to make sense of this is former homicide prosecutor and host of Investigation Discovery's True Conviction, Anasiga Nicolazzi. So Lori Vallow was given 5 days to present her kids back to the police, to the authorities. That deadline passed. She's still wandering around in Hawaii in a $1 million gated community. Why don't they just throw her in jail?
Well, technically they can, but it's much more complicated here. If you don't comply with a judge's order, you can. You can be put in jail until you comply. But here you have competing factors. You have one, they are in Hawaii. The order came out of Idaho, so you would have to ask Hawaii. Of course, they're going to help on a case like this, but they have to extradite them. You also have the fact that they are out and about. Who knows? The authorities' #1 priority is to find these children, and we all want to hope against hope that these children are found safe. While she is out, maybe she does something that leads them. Maybe she decides to cooperate, or more likely she does something, says something, goes somewhere that helps police. So that's what they're looking at here, and that, I believe, is what they're doing. They can't tell us a whole lot because in Idaho, you're dealing with children. There's lots of laws about the investigation being under seal, but I think we can all be rest assured they are doing everything they can to piece this together as quickly as they can.
I guess we're all anxiously wanting them in jail for justice, but that's not really justice. Justice is finding these kids.
That's first.
So letting them make more mistakes while they're out and about
Yes.
is rational.
The case can come later. It's find
Case-
these kids first.
The case will definitely come later. According to Rexburg police, before Lori and Chad fled Idaho, they claimed that JJ was visiting friends in Arizona, which was not true. They also apparently told witnesses that Lori's daughter, Tylee, died a year before the death of her father, which also wasn't true. And around the same time, Chad allegedly told another witness that Lori had no minor children, also not true. So these are pretty significant lies that folks are swearing they were told. So authorities, I would think, would be able to charge Lori and Chad with something.
You know, as a homicide prosecutor, I've had countless conversations with families like the Woodcocks, and at the end of the day is, while I absolutely understand the frustration and the pain and how are these people out and about, while we know that they're lying left or right, it is not a crime to lie. It may be fantastic evidence against them. If there are charges later, which unfortunately I suspect there will be, that is when these come into play.
We reached out to Lori and Chad Daybell's attorney for comment, and we have not heard back, but previously gave a statement saying, we look forward to addressing the allegations once they have been move beyond speculation and rumor. If you have any information on the disappearance of JJ and Tylee, go to findjjandtylee.com. We also have all the information as usual at droz.com/crimehunters. Zika, thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on new videos to live the good life.